Hello and welcome back, guys, to Sound of Manchester. This is your host Prathamesh, and joining me in this conversation is Anurag. It was a really interesting game, wasn't it, Anurag? Last time, which we played against Norwich, it wasn't our best performance by any standards, but we still managed to pull out a result, a very important one, which took us to the FA Cup semi-final. Obviously, we did discuss that in our review, which you couldn't be a part of. So I'll just ask you, how do you feel about that game?
Hi, Prathamesh. I'm really sorry I couldn't join the preview. The review for the last game. But yeah, I was watching the game. It was not our best performance. Yes, even though it was a late winner, there was nothing about it to rejoice or something. Yeah, it was a win eventually, and we got to the next round. That's what matters. But it was an under par performance in every sense. Defensively, there were plenty of mistakes that we were doing, and so easily we could have conceded another goal, which would have put
Yeah.
us in a very difficult position. Uh, but at the same time, we did have some chances. Uh, Offensively, we were not that great as well. Mason Greenwood had some bright moments in the game, which is as again very promising for us. Uh, Nevertheless, I think we got the job done on a day when we are not really playing well. And I've always believed that is a hallmark of a great team. On a day when you're not really playing well, because those days will come, those days will keep coming. And I know a lot of our United fans might not enjoy hearing this, but there were many games this season out of the 31, 32 games they played Liverpool this season. Uh, I think I can pick up 6 or 7 games where they didn't deserve to win the game, but they ended up producing a couple of moments of quality, which eventually ended up in a goal, and they got the 3 points. And honestly, that's what makes a good or a great team, because even on a day when you're not playing well, if you're able to just somehow with a scrappy goal of the back of someone's head, if you're able to
Yeah.
get those 3 points, that's what matters. And I think Bruno Fernandes, a lot of people are talking, he's had a bad game, and the man was tracking back from one end to the other, and he was literally doing what Park Ji-sung did for us for so long. And
Yeah,
I'm actually happy that that was his bad game, and
exactly,
we can
exactly.
imagine exactly. So I think you can really understand what I'm trying to tell. So yeah, that was a poor game, but I think we can just throw that under the carpet. Nothing to worry about. So next up we have Brighton, man, and another a team that is kind of in the relegation battle, we could say. If they lose the next 2 or 3 games, and let's say Aston Villa or Bournemouth are picking up points, they're right back in the mix. Currently, the gap is 5 points. But Brighton are at 32 points. Bournemouth and Aston Villa 27 points each, 18th and 19th. We have to say Norwich are out of this. There's no way. This
Yeah.
in the
I
history of
don't,
Premier League,
I
no
don't
team
think
has
it's.
managed to. Yeah. So, what's your take on this? How do you? What is the danger that Brighton possess?
I think Brighton will still be on a slight high from the win against Arsenal. They probably weren't the. They were probably second best on the day, but they still
Yeah.
managed to take a win. I wouldn't say they are a good side right now because you just said it's a hallmark of a good side, but I think they were just
Yeah, yeah.
lucky.
And this is a completely different context. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Brighton themselves do pose a little bit of threat. I think Neil Maupay has been fantastic for them this season. He is someone who will battle for every ball that is there within his range, and he really has got good finishing abilities. He's really good on the ball as well. He dribbles well with the ball. So I think he's probably Brighton's best out ball at this point of time. And considering that they might be defending a very low line, Neil Maupay is going to be very crucial for them in this game. Another player who I think will be crucial for them will be Leandro Trossard. I think he's gone a bit under noticed because of Neil Maupay. He has been playing really well. His stats might not always reveal what he does for this team. His work rate is incredible. He's really creative in the final third. And he recently even had a slight dig at Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think it was in a press conference, or I think on a paper today, that he's going to face a tough match against him. So I think that battle will be something worth watching then. If that is the case, Wan-Bissaka versus Trossard, it will be some fun. But yeah, I think apart from these two players, I don't see very any standout players as such for Brighton who can really trouble us, because I think they're going to be playing deep defensively. They will have to be very compact, and I think it is from there that if we let them counter, then they will create chances. Otherwise, I don't think we are in a real pickle in this game as well. I would feel that we would be comfortable again. I think for us, especially Paul Pogba is going to be crucial again to unlock defenses. We saw against Norwich as well that when he came on, the game slightly changed for the better. He did that at Tottenham, obviously, and against Sheffield also he was brilliant. And another player I think is going to be crucial for us is, I mean, yeah, obviously it's going to be Bruno Fernandes as well, but I think Matic is going to be really important because not only is he really good on the ball, he has a good passing range as well, and his intelligence to stop opposition counter attacks is just brilliant. He might not have the pace with his legs, but I think as Carrick had in his last few years, I think he has got 5 yards in his brain. So I think that will really help us in the game. Anurag, what do you feel? I mean, apart from this, do you think we are going to see any changes from the lineup we had against Sheffield?
Uh, it would be tough to say so. I mean, there is so much talk about Bruno Fernandes being dropped from the starting 11. Maybe he could come on in the second half. That's the talk right now. I mean, that's what I'm hearing from a lot of experts as well. So maybe it could make sense. Maybe, but who would be coming in place of him? That's another question. Uh,
I think
Maybe
Andres is
Scott
the best option.
McTominay. There is a good chance it could happen because I think Bruno Fernandes has had a tremendous amount of workload and 120 minutes of running that he's done. Uh, Maybe he does deserve a bit of rest.
Yeah, I
So
think
I wouldn't mind that, but ideally I would prefer Bruno, Pogba, and Matic. And as you said, Matic on his in his heydays he was just magnificent. And in the last game against Sheffield, that was him at his absolute best. And
yeah,
if he can produce that for another season or two. I think that's going to be amazing for us. So a two is going to be too much to expect, but I think that's one area where we have to be looking at transfer window as well. That's a problem for another day. But in the front three, maybe I would prefer Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford. They'll definitely start up front now that they had a bit of rest. They will definitely start up front. I think yeah, Greenwood is going to start, although there is a good case for Dan James. So I think
yeah,
Greenwood, he made himself uh, his presence was way more impactful in the game against Sheffield than James was in the previous game against Tottenham.
yeah.
Uh,
You,
as we talked in our previews, without his pace, without him having the space to run, he kind of struggles to dribble past players, and he fails to create that impact that Greenwood can. So that would be my ideal front front three, and defensively the same defense which we saw against Norwich. Besides Dallo going out and Aaron Wan-Bissaka coming in and David De Gea at goal, I think that would be my ideal defense. Bailey, I feel should be start.
yeah, I think Bai did certainly make a case against Norwich to start. I still do feel though that Victor Lindelof might be picked up instead of him because we are essentially playing this low line, and I think Lindelof's ball playing abilities also will come into account. And I think at left back we might see Brandon Williams because Luke Shaw has been playing 90 minutes, 120 again and again 90 in the first game. So I feel he certainly makes a case for the rest. And I think had Ole rested him against Norwich, then it would have been more probable that Luke might have started. In midfield, definitely it is a case for Bruno to rest, and McTominay might start with Matic, and we might see Pogba as a number 10, or else we might see Andreas play at number 10 and Matic and Pogba. So I think there are two or three combinations that can be worked out. And yes, I think against a low line, especially, it makes a good case for Mason Greenwood to start because he's very good with his feet and he's very swift. He can shoot with both feet. That is really important. And I think that surprise element will be really important against Brighton. So, and I'm just going to come to this question, Anurag. How do you think this game will pan out, and what are your score predictions?
I think it's going to be the same old case of United against a slightly, I mean, the bottom half teams. We will get all the possession, and for I think if Bruno and Paul Pogba are not starting together, we might struggle to break that stringent defense down. That's what I feel. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think we currently the form that Paul Pogba is in, if he starts the game, I think we will definitely break open that defense. Although we will, I think we could struggle to break open that defense because although the the midfield, that duo looks very romantic and everything, we still haven't solved all our problems yet, and there is
Yeah.
still a lot of concern. I I think though that could be slightly visible, but I think we will definitely emerge victorious. I am expecting a 2-1 win for United. I think Brighton might score. Considering their recent games, I think they do have a decent shot at scoring. So I'd be a little surprised if we get a clean sheet. I'd be hoping for it, but I think it'll be 2-1 from my side.
Yeah, I think certainly if Bruno Fernandes and Pogba don't start together, I think it will be difficult for us to unlock the defense. Having said that, we still have really good players on the pitch in Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, Pogba, Matic. I think they certainly make a case for themselves. Clean sheet wise, I am hopeful that we do get one, and I think we will. Because I think defensively we are still being quite good. I think the Todd Cantwell goal against Norwich was a bit of a free goal. I think we
Yeah,
definitely would have done better in that case, but I think Maguire was solid really in the match. So defensively, I'm saying I think we might get a clean sheet. Offensively, I feel we might score a couple of goals, if not more. I think it can be a 2-0 win for us. With I think Rashford might score his first goal after lockdown. So that's our predictions for the Brighton game, and we certainly hope that no matter what the scoreline, it ends up in 3 points for us. So, uh,
absolutely.
yeah. So thank you, Anurag, for joining, and
My
it
pleasure.
has been a pleasure to see football back again because 3 months had been awful, and now it's slightly getting better, and even a good form for us is showing that there is some bright future ahead of Old Trafford. So do not forget to tune in to the match. It is on Wednesday for Indian fans at 12:45 a.m. Indian Standard Time, which is at the Amex Stadium in Brighton. So do not forget to tune into the match, and please keep liking, sharing, and subscribe to Sound of Manchester. Thank you, guys.